At this time, we have the opportunity for audience members to address the board. We welcome communication from our community and ask that those who wish to address the board, please complete the request form that is posted on the District 287 website in the school board section. When members speak, we ask that you please state your name, the topic that you will be addressing, and make sure that all remarks are addressed to the school board as a whole. Any concerns will be shared. Any concerns that are shared are taken under advisement. There is no school board discussion or response at this time. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. And this evening, we do have a parent who would like to address the board. And Chris Elrod, I would invite you to unmute and welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you for being here, and go ahead, please.
Certainly. Again, my name is Chris Elrod. My son Austin, age 18, attends District 287, the South Educational Campus. So I'm speaking on his behalf. And the topic of what I would like to briefly talk about is the phased-in learning models that are currently being implemented by the district, and some significant concerns that my wife and I both share regarding the model design and the process by which they are being implemented. A little background: I am an educator of 25 years. I currently work in the Wayzata School District, where I work at Wayzata High School, and my wife also is an educator of 25 years. So our concerns not only are from a professional standpoint, but more significantly from the standpoint of a parent of a severely autistic 18-year-old son. I want to say straight off the bat that Juanine and Superintendent Lewandowski have gone to great lengths to listen to my concerns. I commend them wholeheartedly. I feel like I'm listened to when I talk to Ms. Lewandowski, and I want to express my appreciation for that in front of the board. I think that she's truly listened. That being said, she's but one person, and I feel duty bound to share my concerns. So I'd like to do that if you guys will allow me. First, I think that I feel like that the design of this plan is creating and administrating structurally inequities through the model design. We are making decisions on phases and those returning to campus, not based on individual needs of students, as was done when the 1 day a week decisions were made, as was discussed in this board meeting last month. We are certainly not making these phased-in model decisions based upon the governor's his instructions in the emergency executive order of November, where he makes it very clear about the impact of COVID and distance learning on these severely impacted populations, and how they are to be in the front of the line as we consider the educational needs of students. But we're basing these decisions based upon age, and that is extremely arbitrary in my mind when we're talking about these students. I liken it to all of a sudden 100 kids show up into an emergency room with varying degrees of illness, from headache to heart attack. And they all sit down and they wait for care, and they wait for care. And someone finally comes out and says, okay, we're willing to care for the kids whose last name are A through F. And everyone in the back is like, don't worry, we'll give you an aspirin. But A through F, come on. And so that's where my son is right now at the age of 18. He's a Z in that scenario. And he's sitting in the back of the emergency waiting room being offered aspirins. Meanwhile, A through F is getting to go. And so as a parent, in this emergency room, I then ask, well, when will you see my son? And the answer is, we don't know. You'll just have to wait. I can't abide by that. These are some harsh inequities, and you're forcing students to unfairly bear the burden of what's going on in terms of the impact on their education. That's my first concern. My second concern is that member districts are far ahead of 287 in terms of how they are addressing learning models, how they are implementing learning models, and how they are dealing with these most impacted students. My campus, Wayzata, I have personally sent emails to Chase Anderson thanking him for how he has put special education students at the front of the line. We've had students on our campus every single day this year, no matter what their setting. And starting on Tuesday, they will all be back again 5 days a week, where most of them have been 5 days a week anyway. And when I listen to the board meeting and I listen to people say, well, we're going to sit back and we're going to see what our member districts do. 287 are the leaders. They should be the leaders in this. They should be out front. We send our kids to you guys because you are the experts with innovative design and innovative teaching. You have our most severe and most fragile kids, and we're sitting back watching what other people are doing. We shouldn't be waiting on member districts. We should be ahead leading the charge. And the last thing that I want to bring to the attention of the board, and I apologize if I'm going over the allotted time, you can tell I'm passionate about this, is a sense of urgency. I watched the video of the last board meeting. And quite honestly, I apologize, but I wanted to it was so frustrating. I wanted to rip my hair out because this is what I heard. We're considering, we're looking at, we're waiting to see. We talked about an MDE guidance that was issued in early fall. Well, we're looking at that. And when I hear we're considering and we're looking as the parent of an 18-year-old, this is what I hear. Tick, 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 tick. And we don't even have a sense of urgency to have a phase 3 plan. And no one can articulate one. And I just find that as an educator troubling. And I find it as a parent of an 18-year-old unacceptable. And yesterday, just to put it in perspective, my son spent his 12th day in class since March 13th. His 12th day. That should stop every one of you cold in your tracks. And we understood in spring, as a teacher especially, in the spring, everyone bore this burden and shouldered this burden equally. And that it was what it was. And that was okay. But since the beginning of 2020-21, that's no longer the case. Member districts are ahead of you guys. Member districts are focusing on kids. They know. The governor has released guidance. He did it months ago. He knows. No one can argue about the impact on these kids that distance learning has. I liken it to if I picked up 1, 2, or 3 of you and just all of a sudden plopped you down in Houston, Texas at the Johnson Space Center and said, okay, here you go. Launch the space shuttle. Make sure they're out there for 12 days. Come back and land it safely. And that's the expectation upon you. That's what you're asking your teachers to do. They can't do it. That's what you're asking my son to do by sitting in front of a computer when other students are going back 5 days a week. And no one has a plan. And he is, last name letter Z, as an 18-year-old, sitting in the back of the waiting room, being given aspirin, and we are parents saying, when are you going to see our kid? And all we've heard is, you'll just have to wait. I appreciate you listening to me. I'm imploring upon you guys, whoever is in the leadership position, to make these decisions, to completely reevaluate the model that you're using. You're using age. You might as well be using eye color. You might as well be using choose it. That's how arbitrary it is. The impact on families is profound. And when others are doing something about it, we should be doing something about it too. I appreciate you listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Elrod. We appreciate you sharing your personal story this evening. We also appreciate your patience through the organizational meeting. It's a longer wait than usual to be able to present. So thank you very much.
It was educational. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I won't be signing up for school board anytime soon.
No.
Bless you people.
Right. We appreciate you as an educator as well. So
Thank
you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.